Hello everyone, and welcome to Noodle Journey, your destination for detailed and informative reviews of the instant noodle universe. And today I'll be reviewing one of the most common ramen varieties you're likely to see in the supermarket, Sapporo Ichiban chicken flavor. Before we get started, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content. So yes, plain old chicken ramen. I have my reasons for reviewing this right now, one of which I'll talk about at the end of the video. But the other reason being I'm still not feeling 100% since my last video, and so a savory chicken soup sounds perfect to me right now. I had never tried Sapporo Ichiban noodles before launching this channel, but now that I have, I'm always happy with how good these noodles are for the price. I've walked by them in grocery stores for years, but I never knew that these were better than similarly priced noodles until I had my first bite of their original soy sauce flavor last year. So I've already gone through all of their bowl varieties that I could find, as well as their yakisoba chow mein. And now we come to their chicken flavor, and you may be asking yourself, hey, what's the difference between this chicken flavor and the shio flavor you reviewed? Isn't shio broth just basically chicken broth? Well, kind of sometimes, but not really. Shio can be made from chicken stock, yes, but it can also come from beef or fish stock, and usually you're going to find a lot more umami and spices in a good shio broth, especially stuff like seaweed and mushrooms, plus other vegetables and aromatics. Plain old chicken soup, on the other hand, chicken, salt, onion, maybe garlic, that's about it. Shio tends to get much more complex, and I've read some interesting articles about how some ramen chefs find shio broth to be the ultimate challenge because of its very basic aesthetics and expectations of flavor. It's all really interesting stuff, but I'm getting off on a tangent here. So all of that is to say that no, this is not the same recipe as the shio flavor I reviewed before, even though it might look similar. This is going to be a nice and normal chicken soup, and that's it. Speaking of nice, this is nice and cheap, and pretty easy to find in any grocery store or online. I paid $1.39 at my local supermarket, so expect about the same price elsewhere, between $1 to $1.50 per pack, unless you're paying for an online markup or you're ordering in bulk. On to the vital statistics. We've got a pretty salty product here, clocking in at 1,810 milligrams, or 79% of your daily allowance in sodium. So, chicken soup means salt, right? Not really that surprising. And speaking of no surprises, inside the package we've got a block of thin noodles and a soup powder packet. Now the powder is pretty much what you're expecting out of this. Chicken extract, salt, garlic, leeks, and some nondescript spices. And this is not for vegetarians because there is real chicken extract in here. Let's cook. All right, here's the noodles in the water. We're adding the soup base. I know some people think it is sacrilegious to add the soup base to the noodle water instead of just making a fresh pot of boiling water, but that's what the instructions say to do, and we always follow the instructions here. So here we go. I just had a whiff of the packet, and it just smells like really, really good chicken bouillon. Exactly what I want this to be. Okay, and there we go. That kind of looks like chicken broth now. It smells like a fairly oniony chicken stock, aka comfort in a bowl. So let's give this a taste. Okay, noodle quality score first. I've been saying since the beginning that for a cheap brand, Sapporo Ichiban's noodles are hard to beat. They're a medium thickness with a nice firm texture, and they're hearty enough to be exactly what you want in a pretty straightforward chicken noodle soup. They may look like the stuff that Nissin and Maruchan put in their pillow packs, but they stay firm longer, and I think they taste better. So 7 out of 10 for the noodles. Now, there's nothing spicy about this chicken soup, so this is a 0 out of 10 for spiciness. And with that out of the way, we'll talk about the flavor. There's really nothing surprising here about this broth, but that doesn't mean it's not delicious. You've got a salty chicken stock with some excellent onion flavor, with a hint of garlic, and I think I see a few specks of some much appreciated paprika floating around in here, although it's mostly salt and onion flavor. And believe me, if you've got a sore throat or just want some good old chicken soup, that's a good thing. It's exactly the flavor you want when you buy chicken ramen. There's a slight bit of oiliness I noticed here on the top, probably from the chicken extract in the soup powder. And the broth isn't super thick, but it's still satisfying. And while I don't think a basic chicken ramen flavor is going to win any awards, I would buy this one before I buy top ramen or instant lunch chicken soups. And so I think this is one of those flavors that's always good to have on hand for a cold day or a sick day or whatever. It's not fancy. There's no dried flakes or anything aside from these little bits of green onion. And so this is a no-frills chicken broth. But I think this is a better than average chicken ramen. And so I'm going to give this a better than average score of a 7 out of 10. And maybe if I wasn't getting over whatever bug I caught and wasn't craving chicken soup right now, I would score this lower. But today it's hitting all the right notes for me. It's very satisfying for what it is. Sapporo Ichiban continues to be a reliable, easy-to-find noodle brand that raises the bar just a little bit over what you might be used to. While those of you who may not love onions so much or are very sensitive to salt might want to steer clear of this, for everyone else I'll say, if you want some super comforting chicken soup with a good amount of onion flavor, pick this up the next time you see it. This is worth stocking up on. Very tasty stuff. Now, the reason I reviewed this today is because in my queue next is a product I've heard a lot about. Sapporo Ichiban's Momo-san Tokyo Chicken Flavor, which is one of the products made in collaboration with Iron Chef Masaharu Morimoto. Now, this was a pretty pleasant chicken noodle experience, but I want to know how the Tokyo chicken flavor stacks up to this basic variety, which is why I reviewed this one first. Now, supposedly Tokyo chicken is the be-all, end-all of chicken ramen, so I'm looking forward to seeing what differentiates this from that. I hope you'll check that video out. Until then, please let me know in the comments what your favorite chicken ramen is, and please like and subscribe to continue on this noodle journey with me.